Welcome to the Jerry Graves channel. This is a channel that talks about narcissists. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into the topic. But first, make sure you leave a comment, a like, and hit the subscribe button. Let's jump into it. This video is about not being the oasis of attention for the narcissist. Now, first of all, everybody loves attention. Everybody loves attention. It's one of the most powerful drugs there is. And the thing is that most people are too self-absorbed to really give out the attention that the narcissist wants. So when they find somebody like you, they automatically take to you just because they're getting that attention. You are the type of person who listens. You're the type of person who's, you're empathetic. You want to understand them and things like that. That's really like a gold. That's golden. That's golden attention. There's different types of attention. There's good attention, there's bad attention, and then there's golden attention. That's when somebody's really being that oasis of attention that the narcissist wants, where you just are hanging on every word. You're repeating back and what they're saying, and you're really listening to them, and you're talking to them about themselves. A lot of us, we do this. Now, it's obvious that you shouldn't do this with the narcissist, but you really shouldn't do this with anybody that you know until you know that they are somewhat a healthy person. You shouldn't just shower people with your attention and give them everything that you got, because narcissists know how to hide themselves. So it's kind of like, if you are forced to talk to a narcissist, this is kind of how you do it. And it's a tip for how you do it. This isn't the only way to do it, but it's something that you can do. And also, this is for whenever you first meet people, how you should, kind of conduct yourself. Everybody you meet, when you talk to them, they're just waiting for their time to talk. Nobody's really listening to you. And so it's rare. It's very rare for somebody to truly be listening to you. And so that right there is like a bleep on the narcissist radar, right off the rip. That's a huge bleep. Just the idea that you are really listening to them. Now, again, I'm talking about when you first meet a person. Giving somebody that attention, if they happen to be a narcissist, they're going to be all over you. They're going to see you as a potential supply right then and there, because you're really listening. You need to do what everybody else is doing. Just wait for your time to talk until you're ready to have that type of conversation. They have something that you want, or they are just a really cool person that you want to like open yourself up to. But you don't give this to everybody. You're not going around trying to show or really show your good qualities to everybody. You got to get out of that habit of trying to be accepted, trying to have a great first impression with everyone. Like, you want to have a good one. You want to have a strong first impression. And not necessarily a strong, because that can be meant in different ways. But I mean, like, you just don't want to come off weak, but you don't want to come off overly strong either. You're not being combative. You wouldn't be cooperative, but you're still not a good listener until you decide to be a good listener. And so even when you talk to them, if you're forced to talk to them, you don't fit what you're saying into what they're saying. If you're forced to talk to somebody that you know is a narcissist, like, even when they talk, you kind of talk maybe about the same topic, but focus on a part of the topic that they're not really focusing on. So what you're saying doesn't really fit what they're saying, so that they can just kind of have the feeling that you're not really into the conversation. You're not really listening. You know what I'm saying? And it's not doing it in a way that will be offensive or cause a lot of anger. It's just doing it in the way that most people do it. You're fitting in with the crowd. That type of way. Like, you want to use nuance in this technique. So if they're talking about a football team and the Patriots are going up for the championship, and you start talking about the stadium that they're going to be playing at and the history of that area, and you go deep, and it just so happens you know a lot about the history of the area. Like you start talking about the stadium, then you start talking about the surroundings, and then you keep going broader and broader until you're really not on the topic anymore. You kind of still talking about it, but you aren't. And it does the same thing. Like women do this. Like when they start talking about football to a woman, and the woman talks, and you could just tell instantly she doesn't know anything about football, but even though she's still talking. Now you don't want to come off like you don't know anything unless you want to, but you want to have that same feeling like it's okay. Well, I'm not going to really go in depth with this person because they're not really talking about the same thing, or they don't even know about it. Another thing that you could do is talk about money. You know, this money is like the best topic to talk about to narcissists, because a lot of them aren't really ambitious. They don't really want a whole bunch of money. They're just trying to get in a cool spot, a cool position, and find supply from there. And they aren't really worried about money other than maybe let me, play the lotto or you know what I mean, stuff like that. Unless they're the type of people who are already around people with money. They were born into a family like that, or they just happen to be around people like that, and then they'll make moves or whatever. But in general, narcissists don't really care about like climbing up like that, So if you start talking about that, it's something that's against their nature so much that they don't really want to talk about it. And that's in general to most people. Most people don't like talking about entrepreneurship. Everybody says this is this magical word, entrepreneurship. Oh yeah, I want to own my own business. But in reality, if you start talking to the average person about marketing strategies, they're going to get bored really quick. And just not even bored, but resistant to it. Like people don't like that. And so it's like talking about religion or something like that, but not really talking about something like that, because it's not going to cause an argument, but it's just something that people are resistant to, like topics like that. If you're that type of person who's into entrepreneurship, and just really go back to your own passions every time, you know what I'm saying? Every time you can, turn the conversation back to your own passions without revealing too much about yourself, just to make sure that you're giving off the impression like you're like everybody else. I'm not really, I'm not good supply. I'm not this oasis of attention for you. Even if we do talk, you're not going to get the high quality, I'm listening and hanging on every word. And there's some stuff that you're going to throw in there that I'm not going to pick up, even if you catch everything, because we study this stuff, we catch everything, but you don't let them know you're catching everything. There's stuff that you pretend not to pick up. You know what I mean? And you do this with most people until you know for sure that they're not a narcissist. And also you kind of adjust to whether if you're the type of person who gets ostracized, or if you're the type of person who needs more people around because you don't have any type of support system, then you would adjust a little bit, to that, but only a little bit. You don't just make sure you're not using this to isolate yourself. But yeah, don't be the oasis of attention for the narcissist. Don't hang on every word. Don't sit there with Bambi eyes while they're talking and being all impressed with their personality. Like, the whole idea of being impressed with personalities is a bad thing. Oh, I'm so impressed with your personality. Oh, I just wish I could hang out with you all day. You're so funny. Oh, you're so funny. Like, you got to stop being impressed with people's personalities. That doesn't mean anything. That's how you get caught up with the narcissist in general. Like, being that type of person, it's almost like that's a way of being shallow. That's an accepted shallow thing. That everybody, because if you were talking about, if we were as interested in people's looks and we were open about it, then people would call you shallow. But the personality is like, it's just as superficial, but that's the okay thing. That's what everybody talks about when you meet people. Oh, they got to have a good personality. Everybody, that's the accepted thing, even though it's just as superficial as looks. Don't follow conventional wisdom. Personality means his personality sucks. You know, who cares? Well, who are they really? That's all I got. Peace.